Lightweight, lightweight, baby.
Hey, how's it going? This is Danny from Made of Metal, aka Britain's Strongest Drummer, and the big competitions, they just keep coming. For the first time since 2019, we have the OSG European Championships, which will be taking place between the 11th and the 13th of August at the Excel Arena in London as part of the True Athlete International Sports and Fitness Festival 2023, with a live stream provided through officialstrongman.com. We have 130 strong men and strong women that will be competing over the course of those 3 days, with athletes extended to those that made the top 10 at the official Strongman Games in 2022, as well as those who qualified via the online qualifier, with invites to this year's OSG World Championships, the 2023 Championships, up for grabs. So let's quickly run through the events that the athletes will be tackling over these 3 days. It will be 2 events each day, and obviously the weights will be adjusted per weight class. So on Friday, we start off with a log, floor to overhead, 4 reps, as many reps as possible in a 60-second time window. Then we have a yoke race, which will be a heavy yoke, ran 20 meters. On Saturday, we start off with a sandbag steeplechase. This is 2 sandbags picked up one after the other, carried 10 meters, loaded over a bar, and then the athlete has to run around, pick up the bags again, run them a further 10 meters onto a 48-inch platform. That seems to be 48 inches for the men and the women, no height adjustments there. And then we have this year's deadlift event. It was listed as a deadlift medley, so personally I was kind of hoping for lots of different bars, trap bars, deadlift bars, axle bars, but no, what we've got is a deadlift ladder, 4 bars lifted as quickly as possible in a 60-second time limit. And then kicking off the final day, we have the endurance event. We have a shield carry. This is maximum distance. It's a 20-meter run, so you run 20 meters, turn back and forth as many times as possible with no time limit and no grip shirts allowed either. And then finishing off the OSG European Championships, we have the power stairs. 3 steps, 4 implements. The implements jump up in weight 20 kilograms each time. We saw this at Britain's Strongest Man and the Chaos Classic, and it proved to be a brutal way to finish off a competition. So in terms of event selection, I think we have a good cross-section of events for a strong man, strong woman competition. We've got the strength, we've got for reps, we've got the speed events, we've got the endurance. I think some of the athletes have commented that some of the weights seem a bit light, particularly on the deadlift ladder, but I'm sure if you look, it's the deadlift specialists that are complaining that it's a bit too light. I'm sure there will be plenty of people that will struggle with the weights, so I wouldn't worry too much. I don't think just because a handful of athletes are suggesting some of the weights are light doesn't mean that the competition is going to be easy or a slam dunk for anyone by any means. So this is a YouTube channel that is geared more towards the lightweight end of strongman, strong women. So we will go a bit more in depth into the under 64, under 73 kilogram women and the under 80 and under 90 kilogram men. However, there are so many talented athletes competing in the other classes. Let's shine a light on some of those that are sure to make a big impact over these 3 days in these 6 grueling events. Starting with the women's side of things, we have the likes of Isha Ulla and Claire Myler, who should do really well in the Masters. They're competing alongside the likes of Naomi Hadley, who had a go at an Atlas Stone world record earlier this year. In the open weights, we have a colossal tussle on our hands between Lucy Underdown, Andrea Thompson and Becca Roberts. And I'm sure the ladies in the under 82 kilogram weight class will be doing their best to try and keep up with multiple time world champion Donna Moore. On the men's side of things, in the over 50s category, we have the Miracle Man, Mark Felix. I mean, honestly, who fancies their chances in that category against that man? In the open weight class, we have the likes of Andrew Flynn and Ryan Bennett, who should perform particularly well, but we've also got the likes of Paddy Haynes and Tom Place, who looks absolutely beastly in his training videos. He's got that deathly strongman combination of strength and speed. And in the under 105s, I would expect Sean Diver from Ireland to perform particularly well, but we do have the current under 105 log press world record holder in Emmanuel Pescari competing as well. So in terms of the lightweights, let's start by taking a look at the under 64 kilogram weight class. Now this is a class that contains two of the most dominating women in the world of strong women in the form of Rhiannon Lovelace and Kate Connolly. I mean, what can you say about Rhiannon Lovelace? She is pound for pound the strongest woman on the planet. This is fact. She is 2 times world's strongest woman. She recently won the first ever under 64 show in the Pro Strongman League. She holds so many world records in this sport. It's impossible to not see her on top of the podium at the OSG European Championships. But Kate Connolly is not going to make it easy, as she is no slouch in strongwoman herself. She came second at that Pro Strongman League show earlier in the year. She has also placed third at the official Strongman Games previously, and she holds a log press world record. But can anyone push these two from the top spot? Well, Alessandra Managlio from Italy, Italy's strongest under 64 kilogram woman. She put up an amazing deadlift for the online qualifier. She's a bit unsure on her pressing due to injury, and she's still fairly new to the sport, so we will see how she fares on the more dynamic moving events, but she's certainly going to want to make her mark on this European Championships. Christine Galvin appeared at the official Strongman Games 2022, but unfortunately failed to make the final. But judging from her social media, she is hungry this year and is determined to make her way to OSG 2023. Ailey Gregg came second at the UKNS UK final earlier this year, so we'll certainly be hoping for a good showing at this competition. We'll have to see how she does on things like the log press and the deadlift, but she stands a good chance of keeping up on events like the sandbag steeplechase. In the under 73 kilogram weight class, we have client versus coach in Chloe Brennan and Jenny Todd. Chloe had an absolutely dominating run at the UKNS UK final, taking 5 event wins out of 6. How is she going to fare in this competition? Rachel Greathead will be looking to make a statement and book her ticket to the official Strongman Games 2023. She is looking fired up, citing a change in her mentality. Could this be spurred on by the fact that her training partner is also competing this weekend? Faye Pittman was also at the UKNS UK final and was the only athlete in the under 73 kilogram class to trouble Chloe Brennan on that axle deadlift 4 reps event. So statically, she's very, very strong, still fairly new to the sport and can struggle somewhat on moving events, but she will be hoping to make a name for herself in this competition over this weekend, and I think she's got the tools to do it. Oh, and the under 80 kilogram weight class. This is going to be fun. We have the world's strongest man going up against Britain's strongest man, going up against the man who currently holds the log press world record. This is going to be one hell of a 3-way dance between Ben Donan, let's say his name again, Ben Donan, Dean McVie and Chris Harper. Both Dean McVie and Ben Donan took part in Britain's Strongest Man under 80 kilograms and the Chaos Classic under 90 kilogram Invitational, which took place just a couple of weeks ago. Has there been enough time to recover and change that mindset to a set of completely almost different events? Time will tell. And Chris Harper, we haven't seen him compete since April, where he dominated Scotland's Strongest Man under 80 kilograms with 5 event wins out of 5. He dazzled at Britain's Strongest Man 2022. He made it onto the podium and took an Atlas Stone world record in the process. He currently holds multiple world records himself. As I mentioned, he retained that log press world record, and you know that this competition, this title, is going to be really important to him. So I'm really excited to see what Chris Harper we see at this competition. But my God, the other names in this weight class are not going to make it easy for the likes of Ben, for the likes of Dean, for the likes of Chris. We have Kyle Scott, who placed 4th at Britain's Strongest Man. He took an event win there on the power stairs. So you know he's going to be looking to replicate that result. This weekend marks the return to full competition after a 12-month break for Rich Molnar. He is not happy that his name isn't getting mentioned alongside some of the other athletes in this class. So he is looking to turn up, silence the critics, and earn an invitation to the OSG World Championships. Now, Sonny Nash didn't really get a fair shake at England's Strongest Man earlier this year. He suffered a concussion during the first event and had to withdraw before the competition was done. Had he stayed healthy, I have no doubt in my mind he would have qualified for Britain's Strongest Man, possibly even made the podium. But Sonny Nash is still relatively new to strongman competition. This isn't your average 1 day, 5 event competition. This is a 3-day slog, which also happens to be one of the biggest platforms you can compete on. Will the nerves, will the adrenaline, will that affect Sonny's performance over the course of the competition? We'll find out. Finlay Mercer, the Tasmanian Devil from Britain's Strongest Man under 80 kilograms, is going to be competing. He was a joy to watch at that competition. So if for some reason you haven't yet caught up with Britain's Strongest Man under 80 kilograms, I am telling you now, keep an eye on Finlay Mercer. He is frantic and an absolute joy to watch. He's probably got another year or two before he starts really troubling people for the podium, but he's going to put in an amazing performance. Just please, please, please don't trip over the deadlift bars. And we also have Scotland's Strongest Man under 90 kilograms in Steve Wiley. He is dropping down to the under 80s. In the online qualifier for the European Championships, he put up the heaviest Atlas stone load. He decided to forego Britain's Strongest Man under 80 kilograms in favour of this competition. Let's hope that was a wise move. And Dan Ashcroft, the most recently crowned European champion from 2019, has confirmed that he will be competing after casting some doubt on his competitive career after Britain's Strongest Man under 80 kilograms. I know he is contemplating stepping back from competition, and if he chooses to do so, I hope he makes it through the 3 days of this competition unscathed and is able to bow out on his own terms. So predictions, let's talk predictions. One thing I forgot to do in my recaps of Britain's Strongest Man and the Chaos Classic was point out that I did predict the champion of both competitions, Dean McVie and Dan Benson. So I'm building up a bit of a reputation for being sort of okay at predictions. So for this competition, for the OSG European Championships, I am putting Ben Donan at the top of the mountain, Dean McVie in second, and third place. That's a tricky one. I think it is going to be between Chris Harper, Rich Molnar, and Steve Wiley. I'm not sure. I have to pick one, don't I? I and Rich, prove me wrong. I'm going to pick Chris Harper. I'm going to put that order: Ben Donan, Dean McVie, Chris Harper. But this is going to be a fun class to watch. It's going to be a fun competition. So let's have a look at the under 90 kilogram weight class. Now, 6 of the athletes in this class participated in the Chaos Classic under 90 kilogram invitational. So have they had enough time to recover in order to attack the OSG European Championships as much as they would like to? Now, the Chaos Classic was a heavy competition. However, there are a couple of events that will transfer over fairly well. There was the sandbag into yoke, there was the max distance sandbag carry, and that competition also finished with power stairs. So in terms of athletes to keep an eye on in the under 90 kilogram class, we have to look at the Chaos Classic winner, Dan Benson. He won that competition with a commanding lead over second place. I believe it was something like 15 points. So that is going to bolster him going into this competition. He will be going into this competition feeling confident. I've seen he's well recovered. He was back to training fairly heavy just a few days after the Chaos Classic, and even posted a video of himself doing the deadlift ladder weights for the under 105 class. So safe to say that is one event he's very much looking forward to. Now, he told me at the Chaos Classic that sandbags and carrying events aren't necessarily his favourites, but Dan is the sort of athlete that will really work on weaknesses to turn them into strength. So we'll see what happens at the OSG European Championship. Gav McNamee was crowned the third strongest man under 90 kilograms at the official Strongman Games in 2022, but cut to the Chaos Classic a couple of weeks ago, and the back half of that competition did not go to plan at all. So you know that going into this competition, he is going to be keen not to repeat any of the mistakes or mishaps that happened at that competition. Perhaps this 3-day format, 2 events each day, will play more to Gav's strengths. He is definitely going to be going into this competition hoping to right some of the wrongs from a couple of weeks ago. CB Janssen was great to watch at the Chaos Classic. However, he landed outside the top 10 in that competition despite some good performances in some of the events. So at the OSG European Championships, you know he's going to be looking for a strong finish. Speaking of strong finish, we have Finnish strongman Joni Rautiainen. I hope I said that right. He competed at the official Strongman Games in 2022 as an under 80 kilogram athlete and narrowly missed out on the final, finishing in 11th place just outside qualification. However, he's stepping up to under 90 kilograms and recently won a competition in his homeland. So here's hoping he does himself and his country proud. So in terms of predictions for the under 90 kilogram weight class, it would be foolish to not back Dan Benson, the winner of the Chaos Classic, after that commanding lead in points after the final event. Gav McNamee, there were so many kiss of death moments while I was doing commentary for Gav McNamee that I'm almost hesitant to back him to make the podium, but I'm going to do it. Gav, this is your time. Let's get it done. And as for the third spot, there are quite a few athletes that I'm less familiar with, so I'm not going to make a call for the third spot. Not confident on calling third for this weight class, so I'm just going to sit back, watch the action unfold, and get to know some of these amazing athletes. So there we are, just a whistle-stop tour of some of the 130 plus athletes that are going to be participating in the OSG European Championships. You can watch for yourself. You can catch the live stream via officialstrongman.com, or if you're in London over the weekend of the 11th to the 13th, you can watch if you're at the True Athlete International Sports and Fitness Festival 2023. So who are you looking forward to seeing? What events are you looking forward to seeing? That sandbag steeplechase, I think, is going to be fun to watch, not necessarily fun to participate in. Leave your predictions for the podium in the comments below. I'm looking forward to seeing who you're backing and looking forward to just learning more about the athletes that are going to be participating in this gargantuan competition. I've been Danny from Made of Metal, aka Britain's strongest drummer, aka the voice of the lightweights, and I'll be back very soon with a recap of what happens at the upcoming OSG European Championships. I'll see you soon.